Hey everyone, Laura here with Rags to Rugs. Once again, thanks for joining us. Today we're going to be talking about a stitch called a V-stitch. The V-stitch is a very important stitch when we're making our rectangular rugs. If you'll think about it, on our video, we included a cheat sheet for your oval and your round rug, but we didn't include one for the rectangular. We did, however, address two different types of rugs, rectangular rugs, on the DVD. But I'd like today to go over one of those and actually illustrate a little bit better the different types of rectangular rugs that you can make. They're all fun, they're the easiest of all the rugs, and I think you're going to really enjoy. So I brought a couple of samples of rugs. Now this one, these are both rectangular, as you can see. This one, this is a variegated rectangular, where basically all I did was define the width of my rug, start that as many foundational chains. I chained one and I turned back, and then every once in a while I changed. This happens to be a denim rug, and so there's three different shades of denim in this. There's light, there's medium, and there's dark. And all I did was add 2 strips of the light and add 2 strips of the dark, and I just continued on until it was the desired length. It's really, really simple to make these. So I'll set this one aside. Now this one is more of a variegated / row rug, where I used flannel. I used the black and the gray and the red flannel, and I accented it with a solid black. But essentially it's exactly the same as this. All I did was continue with the same fabric, introducing a black accent to help kind of define the overall beauty of this rug. But again, all I did was define the overall width, and I did that chained at those with my foundational chains. I chained one and I turned until I decided to add the black, and then I repeated the pattern on the other end. But what I'd like to talk to you about today is using your V-stitch to do yet a different type of rug. This will be similar to your oval rugs, where you're actually starting in the center and working out. Yet we're going to define the corners by using the V-stitch. The V-stitch will give you that very crisp corner on your rectangular rug. So we're going to start. I've got several balls of flannel that are already cut and ready to go. We're going to make our little slip stitch that we review on the DVD. I'll put this back up here so you can see it. And we're going to start out with just a few stitches just for this demonstration. So I'm going to do 10 stitches. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And what we're going to do now is we're going to go back now down one side of those original foundational chains and back up the other side, just like what you did with your oval rugs. The only difference is we're going to introduce this V-stitch right on the end. So I'm going to go ahead and we're going to crochet down one side until I reach the very last stitch. And Amanda, if you can zoom in on when we get to the end so that they can clearly see what I'm talking about. Okay, so we're nearly to the end. And I'm now reached the very last stitch. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to insert my hook, I'm going to do a single crochet stitch, and then I'm going to do 2 chains. 1, 2. I'm going to reinsert my hook a second time in that same exact location and do a single crochet stitch. I'm going to do 2 additional chains. 1, 2. Reinsert my hook in that same space once more. That's 3 times, and do a single crochet stitch. What I'm going to do now is come down the other side of those original foundational chains until I reach the very last stitch. As with the other rugs, if you remember on the DVD, we did not weave in the tail. That tail is used to allow you to know where you are on each round. As you're approaching the tail will be your cue that you are starting a new round, again, as you're approaching it. Okay, so now I have finished this side, and I've reached the very last stitch on my rug. I'm going to insert my hook. It's kind of leaning toward the side, but it is ideally the very last stitch. I'm going to insert my hook in this stitch, do a single crochet stitch, chain once, twice, reinsert my hook a second time with a single crochet stitch, chain once, twice, and one more time reinsert it in that same exact space. Alright, so we've already started the rug, and if you'll notice, we've already got a pretty defined corners on each of these corners, but we're going to make them just a little clearer yet on our second round. What we're going to do now is we're going to go down the side until we reach the V-stitch, and we're going to work that stitch, and I'm going to show you how to do that. So we're going to crochet, single crochet all the way down this side until we reach the end. And as you can see, I'm not referring to a cheat sheet. I'm not referring to any pattern. This is going to be a very repetitive pattern to yield a rectangular rug. So as like I said earlier, it's a very easy process. Either the row rug like that one or this particular rug. Now I've reached the very last stitch. And Amanda, can you clearly see this? So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to insert my hook in the space that the V-stitch that we did previously created. So we're going to insert our hook in this space, this little space in the center of that single crochet, chain, single crochet. We're going to insert it there, and we're going to repeat that same stitch. So we're inserting our hook, single crochet stitch, chain, insert our hook in that same space that that V-stitch created, and do another single crochet stitch. Okay? Now there is one stitch. We're going to work our way across the end now, not just the sides, but the end. There is one stitch right in the center that we need to catch with a single crochet stitch. And again, now we've reached the corner where we're going to insert our hook in the space that the V-stitch created on the other corner. Insert our hook, draw it through, single crochet stitch, chain, reinsert our hook in that same space, single crochet stitch, and now you're ready to come down the other side. And we're going to continue on all the way around repeatedly. So we're going to go down once more to the other end. And see how fast this is going to work up too. How easy it is. This is truly something that you can do watching TV with your family, because interruptions are not going to have any effect on the overall quality of your rug construction. Okay, I'm nearly to the end once again. Done the last stitch just prior to the V-stitch, the stitch that single crochet, chain, single crochet created. This is the last half of round 2. I've inserted my hook in that space. I draw it through, single crochet stitch, chain, reinsert my hook, single crochet stitch. Again, this is the other end, so I've got one stitch right in between now that I need to catch with a single crochet. And now I've found the stitch on the other end that V-stitch created. Inserting my hook in that space, single crochet, chain, single crochet, and we just completed round 2. Okay, now you can clearly see the beginning of a rectangular rug using the V-stitch method. And all you're going to do is continue around, again remembering that as you are approaching the tail, which is what we are right now, we're just approaching this tail, that's your cue that you are starting a new round. I know now, looking at my rug, that I'm starting round 3, but there's no difference in the technique that you're going to be using. As you approach the end, you're inserting your hook right here in the space that the V-stitch created, and you're going to continue on around. Each time that you start a new round, you're going to be adding 2 more stitches to each end. So this time you'll have 3 stitches that you need to catch on that end. One thing that I suggest to you is the V-stitch is very easy. The rectangular rug and using this pattern is very easy, but you need to make certain that you're maintaining the same number of stitches on both sides. So you might stop every once in a while, count your stitches, make sure that this side and this side are identical. You can always increase by adding a second stitch if you get off along the way, but just make sure, because at this point you can barely see it, but as the rug gets larger, you're going to be able to see a misshape if you don't maintain the same number of stitches on both sides. So that's the only thing that I can advise that you continue to do. But this is a very, very simple method, a very enjoyable. It yields a rug that's a little bit more contemporary perhaps in appearance than the oval rugs. Very, very popular and really, really fun to do. So practice your V-stitch. Again, it is on our DVD if you want to refer to that as well for reference. And again, thank you so much for joining us, and check out all the DVDs on our YouTube channel, Rags to Rugs by Laura, and we'll stay in touch. Hope you do too. Thank you.